Well, we did it. We went on one last ride. We faced the music, and now it's time to talk about spoilers. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with spoilers. I know it's been a while since I was hoping to get this out sooner, but I got really busy. But thanks to waiting a long time, I was able to see the movie a second time, so at least there's that. But yeah, I really want to talk about this movie with spoilers, but there's so much to talk about, so much I wanted to talk about when I was watching the movie, especially the second time, so I'm not sure if I'll get to remember all of it, but hopefully I do. We'll have to see. And yeah, I guess let's just get into spoiler alert. If you have not seen this movie yet, why have you not seen this movie yet? Go see it, come back after you see this, because we're going to dive into major spoilers. I'll give you a few more seconds to click away. Now let's dive into some spoilers. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. I guess we could just start with the beginning, because in the beginning, when we get the Marvel logo, you know this is the finale, because they do the thing where all the pictures in the Marvel logo are Guardians of the Galaxy, and all the quotes are Guardians of the Galaxy quotes, which I love that they did that. They also did that with the credits too, where the credits were rolling. They did that thing, so you know it's a finale when they show the pictures while the credits are rolling. So that was cool to see and kind of emotional. And the movie is great because what's cool is it opens up too, and it really sets the tone, because this movie definitely feels darker and more mature than the first two films. And the first two films had dark moments, but this film is just way more. Not only because, well, you know, the main villain tortures animals, so you know that's kind of dark, but also like just the feel of the movie. I don't know how the feel of it just feels darker than the first two films in the MCU, and it establishes that right away, because unlike the first two films that start off, where like the first film started off with, it did start off with a gut punch of Star-Lord's mother's death, but then it goes right into a scene with a upbeat, fun, happy song playing and Star-Lord dancing, and then we get to the second film, which we get some exposition, and then it opens up with this fun, upbeat song playing while Baby Groot is dancing. But this third film does not do that. After we get kind of this horrifying imagery with the High Evolution, you don't even see his face, just see his hand reaching towards a bunch of raccoons and Rocket. It cuts to the Guardians, but instead of playing an upbeat, happy song with someone dancing, it's this slower, acoustic, sadder song with Rocket humming and singing along while walking through nowhere. We even see a depressed Peter Quill, and it's just way darker, and it sets the tone for this movie well. And it does a great job with that. So I think it does do a great job with that. This movie just doesn't waste any time. It goes right into the plot, because literally a couple minutes, maybe seconds after we get that emotional opening with that acoustic version of Creep, it kicks right into Adam Warlock attacking Rocket, and the story kicks into gear with Rocket being fatally wounded, and we have to go on this adventure now to try to save him. And the story feels very straightforward. It's pretty much just go to location A, learn what we need to learn, go to location B, defeat enemy, the end. It feels very, because that's pretty much all it is. We go to this one place, they learn about Rocket, they learn about the cure and all that stuff, and all about that, and then they go to Counter Earth to face off with the High Evolutionary. So it's pretty straightforward, and yet it's still a 2.5 hour long movie, which I didn't feel the length. I thought the length was pretty good. I thought it was well paced. I was never checking my watch. I think part of that though is because of the fact that I just love spending time with these Guardians. So it could have been just scenes of them having dinner or something and talking. I still would have never been checking my watch, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Something cool too that I really want to mention was like hearing Star-Lord call Rocket his best friend. Not only was it this hilarious joke where he's like, "We have to say he's my best friend." Drax is like, "Second best friend." That was hilarious. Made me laugh every time that they brought that up. But also, it was just so nice too, because of the fact that in the first two films, especially too, it feels like they were very much like at odds. It seemed like they were constantly arguing and bickering, calling him a trash panda, and like they were constantly at each other's throats the entire second movie, and a decent amount of times in the first movie. Yes, Rocket does make the right decision and tries to save Quill in the first film, but they're still, especially the second film, they're at each other so much. So seeing in the third one that he calls him his best friend is just, it was just, I loved this so much. It was just so great. And like I said, Drax being like second best friend is just hilarious. I loved it. So that was great. And something they did set up early in the movie that was very predictable. I knew exactly where it was going, but I don't care because I loved it. Was with Kraglin trying to learn how to do his arrow thing, and then he calls Cosmo a bad dog. I immediately knew at the somewhere in the finale he's gonna learn how to do the arrow and call Cosmo a good dog. I was right. It was very predictable, but I don't care because I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It just put a huge smile on my face. Like, yeah, that's great. I enjoyed it. But yeah, my notes are all over the place, so I'm just like trying to keep to a specific order, but not doing the greatest job of it. So we're going. So yeah, like I said, they go this adventure, which is pretty straightforward. They go to one place A, then place B, but throughout the whole thing, we're getting flashbacks to Rocket's backstory, which I have kind of mixed. On the one hand, I think they could have done the flashbacks a little bit better, because to me, it felt very much like Arrow. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Arrow, you know what I'm talking about, where sometimes some scenes you'll see something happen, and then Oliver, like whenever Oliver is passed out or something, it'll flash back as if he was thinking about this specific scene because it relates to what's happening in the present. And then sometimes it'll just flash randomly to the flashbacks, which wasn't bad, but you know, it was just kind of like, okay. And that's what this reminded me in this movie, where especially like the very first time, when the very first time he's knocked out, that's when it flashes back, like there's a full-on flashback to it. It kind of felt like Arrow, but it's not a bad thing. I just, you know, it was okay. But I still like the fact that we actually finally got to see Rocket's backstory. And what's kind of cool too is that even though this is the grand, it's kind of weird saying that this is the finale to the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's also a Rocket origin story. Whoa! So it's ending it by showing it being a prequel. Wait, what? By doing an origin story? Wait, what? But it feels cool because of the fact that it kind of feels like payoff to a bunch of setup that we had, because of the fact that Guardians 1 and 2, and even a little bit of Infinity War and Endgame, it was constantly referencing Rocket's messed up past and how he was ripped apart and put back together over and over and over again. It kept mentioning it, but never going into detail, never mentioning his past friends, so it kind of felt like they built up to this, and we finally got the payoff in the third film, learning his heartbreaking origin story, which I thought they did a great job with too, because it was so emotional too. Like, it made me tear up just seeing Rocket, Lyla, Teves, and Floor playing and having fun together and enjoying being in each other's company, especially because I know some people who were shocked by what ends up happening to them, but I knew in the back of my head, I knew this is not going to end well. I think that's what made me more sad, because even the first time watching the movie, I was like, I know they're not going to make it. Oh gosh, I know it. I would end up being right, because when Rocket learns about what's going to happen to them, he breaks them out. Him and I have this sweet moment, and just out of nowhere, gunshot, Lyla dead. It was so heartbreaking. And what made it more emotional too, I think what made it so emotional too, was Rocket's reaction to it, because it was just so, because like, I was tearing up when she got shot. I was bawling when Rocket started screaming, like, oh gosh, man. And then he goes to the battle and he just scratches up the High Evolutionary's face. It's just like, it's pretty brutal. But it's pretty brutal. So there's a part of you where it's so brutal, you're like, oof. But there's another part of you that's like, yeah, get him, avenge Lyla. Which was interesting. But then these two guards show up, they shoot completely missing Rocket, and the Rocket shoots them, you're like, oh, phew, they missed. And then you turn around, it's like, holy crap, Teves and Floor are dead. That's horrible. So it just makes more tears instantly. Like, just the way they handled it, too, was just done so well and so emotional. I thought it was done great, even though I kind of hated seeing it. and then we do see him escape. I will say though, there is still one story I don't think we know, unless they told us what it was, and I don't remember, that I want to see with Rocket. And that is how Rocket met Groot. OG Groot. How'd they meet? I don't remember. They might have explained it in previous things I just don't remember. But we still never saw it. So I kind of wish we could have seen that. But they didn't need to show it in this movie because that would have been way too much. But I kind of want to see that. Just saying that. Just putting that out there. Like I said, they go to the High Evolutionary's ship. I love the scene too where the operator Rocket too. That was surprisingly emotional, even though there's a part of me that like when Rocket was taken out of commission at the beginning of the movie, in the back of my mind I was thinking, all right, he's safe, he's not gonna die, because there's no way you're taking him out of commission in the present day for an entire movie just to have him, oh, he's okay, oh crap, he's dead, or have the entire movie be, we're gonna save Rocket, he died, the entire movie was pointless. So I can't, but because of the way I think Chris Pratt's acting helped, because when like he was dying and Star-Lord's reaction was just so emotional, and seeing him in that like animal having to talk to Lyla being like, can I come with you, and oh gosh, that was so well done and emotional. I thought that was done so well. It turns out he's okay too, and what brought even more tears to my eyes too was when he said something and Nebula, Drax, and Mantis found out he was alive. Not only that, did that make me emotional, but also the way Nebula reacts is just so great, especially because I kind of forgot about this until it was brought up to me. Rocket and Nebula probably are closer than you would expect, especially from this movie, because of the fact that there was 5 years, because of Infinity War and Endgame, where they were the only two Guardians. So they had to have found a connection, and we get some emotional sweet moments with them in Endgame. Well, mostly the one where they're holding hands and crying together, but still. So seeing her like just choke up hearing Rocket's voice, and like I've said before, her character arc is one of my favorite character arcs in the entire MCU, because she goes from being this full-on villain slash henchman in the first Guardians film. In the second film, she's kind of like an anti-hero, where she's out to kill the Guardians. But she's not necessarily trying to kill anyone else or take over the world. I mean, she doesn't care if she kills people on the way, but still. And then we get Infinity War. She's just pretty much just being tortured by Thanos. But then, because I remember in Endgame too, in Endgame is when I realized, holy crap, I think I like Nebula. I think this is a cool character. And then this movie furthers that, because in Endgame she becomes a hero. And then in this one, she is a Guardian of the Galaxy. And it was so much fun, too. I think they did a great job with her, too, because she didn't feel like a different character, either. It still feels like Nebula, because she's still rude, she's still snarky, stuff like that, but she's not evil. So I thought they did a great job with that. Speaking of characters, I think that Mantis, too, was done the best in this movie, because, like, I enjoyed her in Guardians 1. I thought she was a fun, funny character. Holiday Special made me really love Mantis. And in this movie, she's just awesome in this movie. She's great. We're going to get to the other characters in a little bit. The final battle I thought was pretty cool, too. My favorite part, though, was definitely when they face off with the High Evolutionary. Because of the fact that, first of all, seeing Rocket find the cage of raccoons, learning that he's a raccoon, trying to save them was just great and emotional. And then the High Evolutionary comes in, throws Rocket around, and you're like, oh crap. And then I love the scene where High Evolutionary calls about 81P3 or whatever, I forget the exact numbers. And Rocket goes down, he shoots something, and he goes, the name's Rocket. Rocket, Raccoon. And he shoots him. I love that line. Like, that line made me want to stand up in the theater, clap, and cheer so badly. I didn't, because I feel like I'm pretty much the only one who reacted that way in that theater, because there was like no reaction from that. But me, inside, if I was by myself, I would have done it, because holy crap, I don't know why I love that line so much, but I think it is the fact that, one, that's his comic book name, Rocket Raccoon, but also the fact that we've gone 3 movies, we've gone 3 Guardians movies, a holiday special, and 2 Avengers movies of him being like, I'm not a raccoon. I'm not a raccoon. And then he learns, oh, I'm a raccoon. And then he just says this comic book name, I'm a Rocket Raccoon. It's just awesome. I loved that line so much. And then we get the finale, which I personally wish it was longer. To me, it felt like it was over way too quick. But it was still done awesomely, where Rocket gets a blast in, and every Guardian does. Drax, Nebula, Mantis, Star-Lord, and then Gamora gets the killing blow. Supposedly, she gets the final blow. They rip off his face, which is actually his mask. We see what Rocket actually did to him, which is really brutal. I thought that was pretty. I was like, ugh, okay. And what I'm surprised by, part of me kind of finds it weird that Rocket left them alive. Cause why not kill him? Cause I'm a freaking Guardian of the Galaxy. Okay, but you've killed a whole lot of people as a Guardian of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy have killed a whole lot of people. Yes, they were now they were all bad people for the most part. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember them killing anyone who weren't bad. But still, you've killed a whole lot of people, but you're not going to kill the person who tortured you your entire childhood? And your excuse is you're a Guardian of the Galaxy, despite the fact that the Guardians have killed other enemies? Kind of weird, but okay. Like, I'm all for stories where the hero is a killer, or he really wants to kill someone, and all of a sudden he changes. You know what? I'm not going to kill you. I'm all for those kind of stories, but it just feels so weird here. Now, they do leave him on the ship, the exploding ship, to die, but come on. It's Marvel. We didn't see him die. He's probably still alive, let's be honest. So, I also do want to mention, before this finale, we get an epic scene. No sleep till Brooklyn's plague. Rocket informs about, or they're informed about the kids on the ship. Not only do we get this awesome slow-mo walk-see where the Guardians are turned around and walking into the battle, and then we get this amazing hallway fight scene with all the Guardians. It's just so cool. It's like one take. Every Guardian gets a cool action thing to do, a cool move to do while the song's playing. It's just so epic. And because they're not fighting humans, it's allowed to be gory. It's awesome. Probably one of the best action scenes in the MCU. Maybe I'll have to do like a top 10 best action scenes in the MCU list, maybe. This one would be up there. Definitely top 10. Maybe top 5, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that scene was just so awesome. And I'm just saying, I find it hilarious that a movie had the song No Sleep Till Brooklyn starring Chris Pratt within a month of each other. I saw Mario Bros. And they also had that song. I thought that was kind of funny, but yeah, it's just interesting, kind of funny. So after this, we get our goodbyes. Well, after we get a fake out death with Star-Lord, which I honestly thought was gonna die. Speaking of, before we talk about the endings, no one died. Well, no Guardians died. A lot of people died. A lot of animals, including Lyla and them, but no main Guardians died. And I thought for sure Drax was a goner. Like, my prediction going into the movie was Drax is definitely dead. Rocket's possibly dead. Star-Lord's possibly dead. My guess too was Nebula is either going to be the Guardians leader, or she's going to die because she's at the end of her character arc. She turned to a good guy, and I've seen there's been a couple stories where once they turn to a good guy, they die. So I thought they were going to die. Part of me thought maybe Kraglin could be a possible candidate to die because of the fact that he might want to go to DC with his brother. And no one died, which shocked me. I'm kind of glad because I didn't really want anyone to die. But it did shock me, and I think they found a pretty good ending for these characters without killing them off. Now, if they came to me, now if I was told someone has to die, who would probably die? I don't know. Maybe Drax. Like, I think they did a great job of ending the story without killing them, and I think they did. I enjoyed the way they ended the stories. Star-Lord, they're reminding him how he technically left his grandfather, which it was kind of like this lingering plot thread that was left from the first film that no one ever talked about. And it was a thought in my head seeing the first film, and then I just completely forgot about it. I was just like, it's probably nothing. But I think it is actually a good point, because Mantis brings up a great point. He lost that poor guy lost his daughter and his grandson on the same day. That could not have been easy for him. So I like the idea of him returning to Earth to his grandfather. I thought that was a great way to do that. Gamora goes back with the Ravagers, which I think they did that. Like I said in my spoiler review, she feels like a completely different character, which is also like proof that Zoe Saldana is a great actress, because she felt completely different, and that was a good thing. Especially because I was like, she's probably just gonna feel like the same as that character, and they're probably gonna force her back with Star-Lord. They didn't, and I'm glad they didn't do that. I enjoyed her character in this movie. Kind of made me miss our Gamora a bit more, but that was still done pretty well. Drax, he stays with Nebula because Nebula's gonna run nowhere instead of leading the Guardians, which I did not predict at all. I thought Death or Guardians leader. I was completely wrong. She's like nowhere. Drax is gonna help her by taking care of the kids. I think that's a great way to end his story too, just because, like, his goal was done. He avenged his wife and daughter. Ronan's dead, and Thanos is dead. Both those people contributed to his wife and daughter's death. So now what? Now he becomes a father again. It's just so great. That was done well. Mantis too. At first, when she very first said, "I'm also leaving," I was like, really? Now it just kind of feels like he's forcing the Guardians to split up. But after hearing her reasoning and seeing her walk away with those 3 monsters, which I forget the name of, walking away with her, I was like, yeah, this works, this fits. Because it's true, she always was doing what she wanted to do. And what I didn't notice until the second time I saw the movie too was they kind of were foreshadowing, because of the fact that she kept bringing up the fact that nobody listens to her. She keeps telling keep telling people things, and nobody listens to her. Now she's going off on her own. I'm okay with that. I was okay with that. Especially after playing the Guardians of the Galaxy game and seeing how awesome she can be as a loner. I was okay with it. Meanwhile, though, Rocket is becoming the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I actually never even thought of, but seeing him become the leader, I love. I think that was great. And Groot is sticking with Rocket, a Guardian of the Galaxy, which is good, because you can't split up Rocket and Groot. I don't care what you say, what you do. Rocket and Groot cannot split up. They're, like, awesome. They're perfect partners. They're best friends. You can't split them up. So I'm glad that they're both a part of this. And in this scene, Groot even says, "I love you guys," which I thought was Groot speaking words, but based on everything I'm hearing of other people talking, it's actually us as the viewer finally understands Groot, because we spent so much time with him, which I think is also pretty sweet. And I mean, even Gamora understood him at the end, which I thought was cool, seeing her be like, "I'll tell him I'll be down in a sec. Wait a second." And then being like, "Yeah, I enjoyed working with you too," which I like that. See that too. That was cool. I enjoyed that. Yeah, I really loved this movie. I thought it was just done so well. And then we get this ending scene, which what is kind of funny is I find it funny that I've heard people criticize movies, especially kids movies, that end with pretty much a dance party where the characters are singing and dancing along to a song, and then that's how they end the movie. This movie does that, if you really think about it, but it does it in a way that it makes you kind of emotional. You see the remaining Guardian, you see these characters dancing and singing in nowhere. Rocket lets out a howl. They all let out a shout or a howl. Rocket lets out his howl at the end of the movie, and it was just done so great. I love this movie. I think it's great. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they did such a great job with this movie. I'm very satisfied with how this ended. But even though this is the end of this version of the Guardians, that was such a satisfying ending, there is a new version of the Guardians that's not done yet. Because the first post-credit scene, we get a scene that I actually enjoy, showing us the new Guardians of the Galaxy lineup, that including Rocket Raccoon as the leader, Alpha Groot, or King Groot, whatever you want to call him, this huge bulky Groot, Cosmo, I'm glad she's part of the Guardians, Kraglin, I'm glad he's part of the Guardians, Adam Warlock, and his pet Blurp, who was adorable throughout the whole entire movie. I loved it, Blurp. And this little girl, which I forget the name of, I'll be completely honest with you. My very first thought when I first saw the movie was, I wonder if this is like that girl, Nikki from the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which if you played the game, you know who that is. If not, go play the game, you'll find out. It's a great game. But it's not based on the research I've done, and by that I mean watching other videos on people explaining it to me. It's this character who, I'll be completely honest with you, I forget. It's got like connections to Captain Marvel, I guess. I don't know, but I'm willing to see this group of Guardians again. Part of me kind of thinks we're going to see them in one of the Avengers films, if not both. But I'd see a Guardians movie with this lineup, even though I don't want it to be. I have this weird thing where I don't want, if they do a movie with this group of Guardians, I don't want it to be called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 or Guardians of the Galaxy 4. But I also don't want them to completely change the name of the team, be like the Cosmic Guardians or something like that. I don't know. But maybe like call them the new Guardians of the Galaxy, like the all new, all different Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. I don't know.
I should make a note
But
of my path in future.
yeah. I almost forgot to mention too that during the mid-credit scene where we see the lineup, we see them go into battle. They're discussing their favorite music, and Rocket says this song's always special to me. He puts on "Come and Get Your Love," which was the very first song we heard in, or not technically not the very first song we heard. Actually, I don't think about it because young Peter was listening to a song in the opening with his mother's death. But one of the second song, and the first song we hear in present day, was Stellar dancing. So it ends where it began, full circle. I thought that was great. It was just like, oh, full circle. I also love the fact how they passed the music down the Rocket, kinda, where Starlord got for him, and you also see him casually start liking the music throughout the movies until we get to this film, when he's outright singing the music. So he's grown to love the music too, and we see that actually started when he was young with High Evolutionary, because of the fact that he had music playing. He was like, what is this? It's music. We like this? Yeah, we like this. And then, like, Guardians 2, he was playing music when he was with him and Baby Groot, facing off against the Ravagers. Like, he played Southern Nights, he played Come a Little Bit Closer, and so on and so forth. And he was even setting up the tunes for the beginning with Mr. Blue Sky and Baby Groot. And then this movie, he's listening to it, and he gets himself a Zune. Listen to music. I thought that was just done greatly. However, part of me thinks that there could have been a better line whenever they went to battle. Like, they were like, on your word, Rocket. I think he could have quoted Star-Lord from the second film, from the beginning, where he's like, it's showtime! I think that could have been a better line to say just because it would have been like a callback from one of the earlier films. They didn't, that's okay. So, I just think that would have been cool. And then we do get an end credit scene, which was just Quill and his grandfather talking with the newspaper, referencing the holiday special with Kevin Bacon and being abducted by aliens. But then it says, with a white background and black text, which is reverse of what they normally do, the legendary Star-Lord will return, which is the name of the comic book run, which this completely shocked me. I was not expecting this. So there's a chance that he could return, possibly solo, possibly on Earth. My guess is that we're going to see him in, like the new Guardians, we're probably going to see him in either Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But, yeah, I love this movie. I think it was a pretty satisfying ending. It was very emotional. I think the biggest reason why I was so emotional is because of how much I love the Guardians films, and the fact that this is the end of the Guardians I know and love. But it did a great job. I feel like a satisfying conclusion, while also making me kind of excited for what could come next. Also, when it comes to Adam Warlock, I didn't talk about him yet. I enjoyed his character in this. I understand why huge comic book fans of him would not be happy with this. But as someone who knows very little about him from the comic books, the only series that I've actually somewhat read with him in it was the Infinity War comics. He's never been one of my favorite characters, so to me, Will Poulter, I think is the actor's name, did a great job. I found him really funny and enjoyable. I loved him in Blurp. However, I think they could have done, the thing I think they could have done better was when his mom died, Aisha. I think they could have done that as an emotional drive for him to join the Guardians. Or maybe change her death to make it look like the Guardians' fault, which would explain why he's attacking them after she dies. But they didn't. It didn't distract me or anything, but I think they could have done that. But yeah, I think his character was done an enjoyable way for me personally, as someone who's not the biggest Adam Warlock fan. But I can understand where the people are coming from. But yeah, love this movie. I definitely want to do a video where I can. I've been talking way too long, so I might have to make more videos on this movie. But yeah, I love it. What did you guys think of this movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. I feel like I've been talking for way too long. This is probably gonna be one of my longer videos, but I love this movie. There's a lot to talk about, so yeah. Thank you so much for taking time to watch. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and that's it. That's the end. But it was a good ending. So thanks for watching. Bye.